provided by...
I'm a much calmer cat, thanks to Feel Away Optimum. Let me explain. Before Feel Away Optimum, I would have scratched up this expensive sofa. And you see this wall? I would have probably peed right on it. And if there was another cat in my spot, I would have attacked. Meow! But not anymore. Thanks to Feel Away Optimum, I feel way better.
Feel Away Optimum, enhanced calming for cats. Available at Petco, PetSmart, or Ask Your Vet.
Apart from being my wife, she's my friend.
Tomorrow on E.T., Tom Selleck's magnificent love story. E.T.'s fun times with Tom and the woman who captured his heart for over 3 decades. Oh, don't tempt me, don't.
Happening now.
A hearing today on the lack of answers regarding the investigation into the Robb Elementary School shooting. Today, the Uvalde DA testifying as to why she thinks the details of the investigation need to remain private.
The Department of Justice and its partner agencies announced a historic international arrest of multiple leaders of a human smuggling ring in Guatemala. We have the details coming up.
Some good news, slightly cooler temperatures and a chance for a few downpours. That forecast is straight ahead. The news at 5 starts right now.
First at 5, San Antonio police working a standoff situation on the north side.
Right now, it's been nearly 18 hours with no wind in sight. This is happening at the Agora Stone Oak Apartments on Agora Palms, not far from 281 and East Frontera.
RJ Marquez joins us now live from across the street of that standoff. RJ, what can you tell us about what's happening there?
Yeah, Ursula and John Paul. So we're at the intersection of Hardy Oak and Agora Palms. This is basically catty corner to this apartment complex behind me where this situation is taking place. And again, we learned earlier this afternoon that this standoff has been going since 11 o'clock last night. So that is when San Antonio police first got to this apartment complex after they received a tip that a person wanted for murder was inside one of these apartment units. Officers tried to take the suspect into custody, but we're told that he barricaded himself last night and has not come out. San Antonio police tell us that not only is this person wanted for murder in another county, but he has several other warrants out for his arrest.
All 4 were felony warrants out of county, but one of them was a murder warrant as well. With that information, we got police involved, we got SWAT out here, we got negotiators out here. There is a heavy police presence, which caused concerns to residents at the location, but we're trying to do this as peaceful as possible.
All right, back out here live. So all we know right now about this suspect is that he is a Hispanic male in his early 40s. And again, we're near a hospital and other office buildings, but police have told us that there is no active threat in this area and that this right now is a very isolated incident. But again, this standoff now going on its 18th hour. And police are also saying that if you do not live in the area, try and avoid it if possible. Reporting live on the north side, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, RJ. Hopefully they can get that safely put to rest. Now to an update on the Uvalde school shooting investigation. This morning, Uvalde District Attorney Christina Busby testified to a Travis County judge why she wants details of the investigation to remain private. Today's court's hearing, part of the state Senator Roland Gutierrez versus Texas DPS. The senator has been pushing for DPS to make certain public records public. He's asking for the records of law enforcement response to be released. Busby saying doing so will compromise the investigation by revealing which witnesses are considered suspects and prompting them to possibly change their stories, lawyer up, and not cooperate. She adds it'll also prevent for a fair trial in the future by tainting the pool of potential judges. Senator Gutierrez asked the DA whether she ordered DPS not to release records in the investigation. She said she asked anyone who was willing to listen to her to refrain from doing so.
A deadly human smuggling network out of Guatemala, no more. In a historic move, several U.S. agencies working together to take it down. Alicia Barrera reports it was part of an international operation led by Joint Task Force Alpha, an initiative created in 2021 to fight corruption, human trafficking, and human smuggling in Central America.
2 days ago, some 1,500 miles south of the border in Guatemala, a massive law enforcement takedown.
That operation resulted in the arrest of Alonso and his 3 alleged co-conspirators in this indictment.
The leader is identified as Felipe Diego Alonso, a.k.a. Siete. Nesli Norberto Martinez Gomez, Lopez Mateo, and Juan Gutierrez Castro were also arrested and indicted on 4 charges for their alleged leadership in the human smuggling ring named Alfa Siete that led to the death of a migrant woman in Odessa during the spring of 2021.
As repeatedly demonstrated, smugglers do not care whether those they conduct business with live or die, only that the smuggler gets paid.
According to court filings, the victim's family paid Alonso's criminal organization approximately $10,000 to be smuggled into the U.S. She was guided through the desert, but later died in Odessa and left on the side of the road.
Investigation revealed that the deceased person appeared to be ill or dehydrated and had to be carried into a stash house in Odessa, where she subsequently died.
The 4 men will be extradited to the U.S. and, if convicted, could face life in prison.
It will represent the first extraditions from Guatemala for human smuggling.
Joint Task Force Alpha's operation on Tuesday also led to 15 other arrests and the seizure of cash, firearms, and 10 vehicles.
The exact number of migrants smuggled by Alonso's criminal organization is still under investigation. And when it comes to his extradition, along with the 3 other men, the Department of Justice says that could take anywhere from 4 to 6 months. Reporting Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
An update now on a fatal shooting at a Northside gym from Monday. The victim is identified as 34-year-old Brandon Broadnax. He was shot and killed inside the LA Fitness on Blanco Road while working out. The suspect, Jesse McWilliams, was arrested down the street. He faces a murder charge. The motive is still being investigated.
A Southside murder under investigation tonight. The man believed to be responsible is in custody. That shooting happened at a neighborhood near Palo Alto Road. San Antonio police arrested Aaron Lee Fisher on a murder charge. The victim's name has not been released. We do know the 2 were fighting when shots were fired, but it's unclear what they were fighting about.
A Helotes woman was convicted of murder in 2013 in the 2013 death of her husband. She's back in jail after spending 4 years free. This time, Frances Hall is charged with fraud. She's accused of providing false payroll information to avoid $9 million in insurance payments out of Travis County. 59-year-old Hall spent 2 years behind bars following her 2016 trial. She was found guilty of chasing after her husband, Bill Hall Jr., with her SUV when it collided with the motorcycle he was riding. Hall insisted the crime was an accident. The jury ultimately found she acted out of sudden passion, and she was sentenced to the lowest punishment possible for murder.
Dangerous wildfire conditions still a concern in Texas. Yesterday, the Texas A&M Forest Service saying they responded to 28 wildfires that spread across more than 1,500 acres. They shared this video on Twitter. It's the Wilson Fire in Parker County, which is outside of Fort Worth. These 2 fires burning in Hays and Gillespie counties closer to home. They were pretty much under control at last check. So, Justin, the conditions out there are pretty frightening.
They are, and they get a little bit better tomorrow because we have a little bit more moisture in place, but there's still going to be a fire concern there. We look at the fires in our area right now. We've got 3 of them, and they're still not completely contained. So the Hermosa fire, about 10% contained. You've got the Smoke Rider fire up there in Blanco County, 70% contained, and then 50% contained for the Big Sky fire. Thankfully, they are starting to get these under control. And I mentioned tomorrow the forecast for fire danger isn't as high, but it is still there. We're in a moderate risk as we go into tomorrow afternoon. Weather watchers, 97 right now in Lakey. It's 99 in Leon Springs, 104 in Schertz, 101 in Bulverde, 103 right now out in Mico. It's a hot afternoon, another record-setting day. We'll talk about the heat and our rain chances coming up.
Thank you, Justin. Right now, first responders have their hands full. They're dealing with new heavy flooding and fast-moving fires across parts of the United States. In the already waterlogged St. Louis area, water rescue boats launched overnight.
This is thousands in Kentucky still struggle with stifling heat in the flood zone, and fast-moving fires are triggering multiple rounds of evacuations across the West. Mike Valerio has more.
In the middle of the night, sirens and spotlights cut through the darkness in the St. Louis area as rescue teams search for people trapped in flash floods unleashed by rainfall in line with a 50 to 100-year storm.
It was coming up and rising quick, so at that point, packed up some clothes, chucked it in a bag, and I got out, hopped in my vehicle, and just laid on the horn for all the neighbors to hear.
Like I woke up, the water was this high. almost drowned. We had to get out in boats and everything.
The suffering still felt in Kentucky's flood zone, with the heightened rate of extreme weather top of mind for survivors.
And whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, I believe we're seeing the effects of climate change right here.
As Kentucky's recovery enters week 2, news stories of escape.
I reached and found my pistol in the back seat, and I shot the window out of my Chevy. The next day, getting to see my kids, that made it worth it.
In the West, Oregon's Miller Road fire exploding in size, forcing some people to fight the flames on their own.
The wind was blowing it to the south, but all of a sudden the wind changed and we had to abandon. I mean, it just instantly went from we got this to 20-foot flames rushing at us, and we had to drop our hoses and run.
Now, as millions face a record-breaking heat wave across the nation, extreme temperatures have claimed the lives of an elderly couple in Georgia, with temperatures in their home reaching a sweltering 115 degrees.
To hear their passing, it's nothing short of shocking.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Taking a look outside on this very warm afternoon, I-35 at Loop 410, and this is usually the case at this hour, that northbound traffic moving along, just inching along right there at 410.
There are now more than 26,000 monkeypox cases around the world, and more than a quarter of them are right here in the U.S. The White House has declared a public health emergency. Now we know the virus can spread through skin-to-skin contact, and symptoms can include headaches, rashes, and blisters. That's why health officials are encouraging high-risk communities to get the vaccine. But right now, some supply is failing to keep up with demand.
There's definitely a shortage of supply. We are in a race.
We have demand that's outstripping supply.
Health officials warn the virus can affect anyone. The pharmaceutical company Moderna is launching a research program to consider a new potential monkeypox vaccine with mRNA technology. And just an update, we do have 16 active cases here in Bexar County, a slight increase. We were at 13 not too long ago.
We are almost at the weekend, and if you're getting ready to send those kids back to school, this weekend might be a good time to tackle all that shopping. It is a tax-free weekend after all. Coming up, which stores offer the most savings on supplies? We're talking your money when we come back.
Myra Arthur here in the newsroom with a preview of what we're working on for tonight at 6 o'clock. 3 days and the jury has reached a verdict in the trial of Jorge Izquierdo. He's been found guilty in the murder of his girlfriend and the mother of his children. Erica Hernandez walks us through the final moments of this trial before the jury reached a decision. Plus, as the new school year approaches, things are forever changed in Uvalde. That includes the high school football team as well. RJ Marquez was at one practice this week and tells us about the team's plan to pay its respects to the lives lost in this community. He's also speaking with one senior who is paying tribute on the field. The projections are dramatic, an expectation that the November midterms in Texas will see millions more Latino voters. But besides the candidates themselves, what issues will motivate Latinos to vote more than ever? Jesse DeGollado tells us tonight at 6. It's all coming your way in less than an hour on the news at 6.
Now to a breaking news update on the Alex Jones case. He has been ordered to pay Sandy Hook parents more than $4 million. He is a conspiracist who claimed the attack was a hoax.
If back to school shopping is on your to-do list this weekend, you have a chance to save a little cash. Friday through Monday, Texans pay no sales tax on most shoes, clothing, backpacks, and school supplies.
That list of supplies can add up, so 12 on your side's Marilyn Morris did some shopping and some homework.
Piper Romero needs a rainbow of stuff for third grade. Her favorite?
Colorful markers.
As families hit the back-to-school aisle, so has inflation. Brianna Eilers has a third grader and 3 more to shop for.
It's a lot.
So here's a pop quiz. Where can you check off your list for the least?
I took NAISD's must-have list for third graders to popular stores comparing prices.
We shopped Walmart, Target, H-E-B, and Office Depot, looking for name brands if requested. needed. Otherwise, we shopped for the best deal available on the shelf. Paper, pencils, paints, it added up. Walmart and H-E-B had the lowest price on the most items. Office Depot was the priciest on almost everything. To save money, take notes. Buy store brand. For example, at H-E-B, 6 Elmer's glue sticks cost $1.62, but their store brand, just 75 cents. Check online prices. At Office Depot, these scissors cost $4. Online, you get 2 for $2. And sharpen your own pencils. Get this, at Target, 2 boxes of sharpened pencils cost $4.38. Unsharpened, they're less than half that. So here's our savings report card. Our basket of school supplies at Office Depot cost more than $39. Walmart, H-E-B, and Target were fairly close and less than $20 each. Walmart was the least expensive, $17.42. H-E-B was 72 cents more, and Target $2 more. H-E-B gets extra credit, though, for having everything in stock and easy to find when we shopped. Now, with class beginning soon.
Well, you excited about it, or?
No. I kind of like school.
You just have to get the kids ready. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Split decision.
I was never excited for back to school shopping.
I know.
I was like, summer's over. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Something you could add to that shopping list is sunscreen.
And we do want the summer to be over.
Oh, nowadays, but
yeah, you might have to add that to the list. Sunscreen.
Lots of sun, very little clouds.
It's not going to be over for a while, guys. Sorry to say. We've got a lot more heat in the forecast today. 103. Tied another record. But before we jump into those temperatures, I want to talk a little bit about the hurricane season. NOAA released their new forecast today, and despite the fact we've had barely any activity in the Atlantic, they're keeping with their forecast of an above average season of 14 to 20 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. So it just adds up there. Still looks like it could be an active season. It just hasn't really taken hold yet. In the Pacific, we have one little area that we're watching that could turn into a tropical storm next few days. Not a big deal, not going to affect land. And out in the Atlantic, still no development expected. We do have one wave coming off the coast of Africa. Looks okay, but there's still quite a bit of Saharan dust out there too, and that tends to really prohibit development. And again, we're just not seeing much at this point. If anything does get going, we'll of course let you know. So we go outside for you. It is a hot afternoon. 101 at the airport, 59 at dew point, with southerly winds at about 8 miles per hour. Thankfully, the dew point has fallen enough to where we don't really have a huge heat index this afternoon. We do notice a few clouds here and there, some thin cirrus clouds working here from the north and east, but no rain, at least not yet. There's a little bit in the forecast as we get into tomorrow and Saturday. 102 Port SA, 104 Stinson, 102 Seguin, 103 right now in New Braunfels. Even Comfort is up to 100 at this hour. Some breezy winds, that always helps a little bit, makes it not feel as hot. We're getting some gusts around 24 miles per hour at Stinson, gusting at 23 at the airport, generally out of the south. And dew points, as I said, right at about 60, so we're right in between that pleasant and muggy category. There is enough humidity, especially across the eastern half of the viewing area, where we're getting some pretty significant heat indices. It's 107, at least that's what it feels like in Gonzales right now. Feels like 105 in the Braunfels, feels like 106 down there at Stinson. In the KSAT 12-hour forecast, 96 at 8 o'clock, still warm going into this evening and overnight. 86 degrees at 11 o'clock, 83 midnight, and probably falling into the upper 70s by tomorrow morning with a little bit of cloud cover. And then tomorrow, not as hot. We're thinking right around 100, but the heat index is going to jump up a little bit. I think we have a little more humidity tomorrow, so the heat index, the feels like number, could be as high as 103, 104. We mentioned some of those fires out there. We talked about this earlier. They're still there, a few of those out around the area. And I want to talk about the moisture contents. We've got some moisture off to our east. Some of that feeds in tomorrow, and that's why I think our rain chances go up a little bit. So this orange color represents some of that deeper moisture. Streams in tomorrow and then more so on Saturday. So we've got rain chances both tomorrow and Saturday, not great rain chances. We're talking probably 10 to 20%. This is tomorrow afternoon. You can see 1 or 2 showers generally across our eastern counties. And then on Saturday, some isolated stuff popping up in the morning and a few as we get into the afternoon hours. So 20% on Saturday. Extended forecast, 98 Saturday, 20% chance for rain, 100 Sunday, 100 Monday, 101 Tuesday, maybe a few coastal showers, but not much here in San Antonio. And that's the point next week where we start to set those records for most 100-degree days in a year, guys.
We knew it was going to come to this. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to go over to Greg, right?
Yeah, we're going to head over to California.
We want to know how that California weather's looking and what we can expect in sports.
It's been rough, 77 degrees today, so we're having a bit of a heat wave. But when we come back, more about Dan Quinn and his big payday. What does he have to say about that and keeping on the Cowboys coaching staff? And Brittany Griner's sentence today. What does that mean for her in Russia coming up?
Camping with KSAT, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our live coverage of the Dallas Cowboys training camp here in Oxnard, California. Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn was on several head coaching lists during this offseason, and to make sure he didn't bolt from the Cowboys, owner Jerry Jones gave him a very nice raise. It kept Quinn in his position as defensive coordinator, where the Cowboys led the league in takeaways with 34 last season. It also gave Jerry a backup plan just in case Mike McCarthy did not get off to a good start this season after a 12-5 finish last year. After Quinn said he was not the guy coming around the corner for McCarthy's job, he was very coy about the pay raise he received, not to leave to become a head coach elsewhere.
First rule of Fight Club is you never talk about Fight Club. I would say, unless my Jersey roots have changed, we don't talk about contracts. But honestly, I'm having a blast here. I really am, and I'm enjoying the whole process, of what we're doing, and I just want to provide value, to Mike first, and then to the defense. And so every once in a while you find where your feet are and you're in a good space and you feel it, and that's really how I felt here. And but I'm going to refer to Fight Club.
At the end of the season, we were talking way before the opportunities that were presented to him, and I just think once again he's very happy. He's very comfortable in Dallas, and I'm glad he's here. And it's not only a professional relationship, but it's a personal relationship that I put a lot of value in.
The UTSA Roadrunners continue with their fall training camp to get ready for their season opener at home against Houston on September the 3rd. Corey Mayfield is a fifth-year senior cornerback. That's after sitting up in all 14 games last season with 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 37 tackles, and 34 solo stops. 5 years goes by fast.
Flew by, man. I remember getting thrown in that fire UAB game, man, in Birmingham. So, yeah, man, it's flew by, man. I'm kind of, it's a bittersweet feeling, man, But, hey, it's here, man.
All right, former Baylor, now WNBA star Brittany Griner has been sentenced to 9 years in prison in Russia after she was arrested for bringing cannabis into the country back in February. U.S. officials believe the sentence will allow negotiations on a prisoner swap to move forward. The Cowboys signed a new linebacker, in fact, a veteran linebacker. Got that for you coming up at 6. Live from Oxnard, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Let's see if he adds to that Dallas defense that's leading the league in turnovers, takeaways.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Greg.
We'll be right back.
Well, we're sitting at 101 right now. Tomorrow we're up around 100, maybe a little bit cooler. We were at 103 earlier today. Small chance of a few showers generally east of San Antonio tomorrow, then a 20% chance on Saturday. Other than that, it's more heat and humidity. Maybe a few coastal showers early next week, guys.
I'm just happy to be seeing something there for showers.
Something to look forward to.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching the Music 5.
World News is next.